Why am I not healing? That is the question people ask after they have changed their diet, taken all the supplements, tried the herbs, started the exercise, done just about everything they were told that would help. Those things do help, but the same patterns keep repeating. The body still feels unsettled, the mind keeps racing, and something inside still feels disconnected. We start wondering whether we are doing something wrong. Maybe we need a better diet, another practitioner, a new routine. Maybe we just need to try harder. What if you are not failing at healing? What if you simply have been trying to heal one part of yourself while ignoring everything connected to it? Last week we talked about Twice Marked, a historical fiction. You know, family, land, identity, and the stories people carried across generations. This week I'm talking about holistic health and the root and remedies of it all. That may look like a sharp turn from the outside. One week we're discussing old court records, history that refuses to stay buried. In the next, we're talking about healing the body, the mindset, and rooted living. But to me, those have never been separate subjects. They're the same thread running through all of my work. My historical fiction explores what happens when people become disconnected from their history or community. My holistic work explores how to reconnect to our mind, body, spirit, and personal environments. We are often taught to look at health as though it begins and ends in the physical body. Something hurts, so we treat that place that hurts. We feel tired, so we look for something that gives us energy. We can't sleep, so we search for something that makes us sleep. The body is not living in an isolation bubble. Your body is living inside your life. Your relationships, your responsibilities, your memories, your beliefs, home, routine, fear, grief, history, and the expectations you carry all affect the vessel that we call our body. You cannot separate the health of the body from the life that the body is being asked to live in. That is where your story comes in. When I say your story, I don't mean the dramatic things that have happened to you. Your story is also made from the smaller things you were taught to accept without question. It is the way your family handles conflict, what you have learned about rest, whether you were allowed to have needs. It is how people react to your expressed emotions, the role you are expected to play, and what strength looks like in your household. Maybe strength means never complaining. Maybe love means you always sacrifice. A good woman, does it mean taking care of everyone else first? Rest, do you have to earn it? Is asking for help being treated like weakness? Those ideas become part of your story long before we are old enough to even examine them. Then we carry them into adulthood without even thinking. We overwork ourselves because slowing down feels like irresponsibility. We say yes because saying no feels selfish. We stay quiet because speaking honestly could cause conflict. We ignore exhaustion because the women before us did not have the luxury of stopping for a spa day. Eventually, these patterns feel normal. We stop recognizing them as learned behavior and begin to call it part of our personality. But sometimes what we call personal is really an old survival pattern that has become familiar. That doesn't mean that every health problem is caused by childhood, family history, or difficult emotions. It is dangerous and unfair to reduce illness to a person's thoughts or their past. Bodies are complicated. Genetics matter, environments matter, injuries, infections, nutrition, medical conditions, and countless other factors do matter. Holistic health should widen the conversation, not to create another way to blame people for being sick, but the point is not that your story caused everything. The point is that your story may be influencing how you respond to what is happening now. It may affect whether you listen to your body or push past those signals. It can affect whether you seek help when needed. It could also affect the food you eat and how your body processes that food. It could be relationships you remain in, the stress you tolerate, and the way you speak to yourself. These are all parts of your mindset. Your story can shape the condition in which healing is either supported or consistently interrupted. Imagine trying to calm your nervous system while living in an environment that keeps you on edge. Imagine taking herbs for sleep while spending every evening in go mode, or working on losing weight while eating every meal rushed, distracted, intense. That doesn't work. Herbs are helpful, yes. The food may be nourishing. The treatment may be appropriate, but another part of the life that you are living in may be pulling in the opposite direction, undoing any progress that you could be making. That is why I describe rooted living through 4 connected areas: your mind, body, spirit, and your personal environment. Not because these are the only parts of a person, but because they give us a way to look at the whole life instead of chasing isolated symptoms. The mind includes our thoughts, beliefs, patterns, and the stories we repeat to ourselves. Your spirit includes the sense of meaning, purpose, connection, intuition, faith, and the quiet part of us that knows that there's something not right. Our personal environment includes the space that we live in, the people around us, the media we consume, the rhythm of our days, and what our nervous systems are consistently being exposed to. The body is including our physical health, the nourishment, the movement, rest, pain, symptoms, and the signals that we are often taught to ignore. These parts are always communicating. A stressful environment affects our mind. A racing mind affects our sleep. Poor sleep, it affects the body. A depleted body affects the patient's emotions in the way that we relate to others. Difficult relationships affects the spirit, and spiritual disconnection can make every part of life feel so much heavier. Then we try to repair one symptom without looking at the chain that has helped create it. That is why healing can become so frustrating. We are treating a leaf of the tree while ignoring what is going on in the roots. Rooted living is not aesthetic baskets and mason jars. Cute, yes, but it is not the work. The work is looking beneath the visible problem. It is asking not only what can I take for this, but also what is asking me to notice it. What keeps repeating, and where am I asking my body to carry something that needs to be addressed somewhere else? These questions aren't replacement for healthcare. They are invitations to become more involved in your own life. Healing requires participation. Sometimes participation means seeing a doctor, yes, but it could also mean going to bed earlier. It could mean having a conversation that you have been avoiding, or recognizing that you have been trying to return to a version of yourself that no longer exists. Healing is not always about getting back to who you were. It's about becoming a more honest person that you are now. That is one of the connections between my fiction and my holistic worth. In my historical fiction, the characters are often trying to understand what is happening before them. They are discovering that the present did not appear out of nowhere. There are the choices, losses, secrets, the relationships, and healing that needs to be done. Health is that way too. The way you live today did not appear out of nowhere. Your habits have histories, your beliefs, your fears, the way you care for yourself, all has been shaped by people who were doing the best they could with what they knew. Looking at the history is not about blaming the people who came before us. It is about gaining the freedom to choose differently. When a pattern remains hidden, we repeat it automatically. When we finally see it for what it is, we have a choice. That is where the connection between story and health becomes powerful. Your story is not a prison sentence. Understanding it does not mean that you have to remain defined by it. Being rooted provides context. It shows us where we came from, what nourishes us, what has damaged us, and what may need new soil. This is the work behind Roots and Remedies. It is not simply a book about herbs. It's about looking at the whole life. The mind, the body, spirit, and environment. It's about recognizing that sometimes remedies are an herb, yes, but sometimes a remedy can be a boundary. This is all nourishment. So if you've been asking, why am I not healing? I don't want you to immediately assume that you have failed. Start looking at the other pieces of life that are asking for your attention. Healing begins when we finally see how everything is connected. Your body is part of your story, and your story is still being written. Let's continue this conversation in the comments section. Until next time, peace.